Good morning. So I'm talking a bit quietly because my partner is in bed and she's home at the moment due to the quarantine. So I thought I'd do another sketchbook tour. So I made this sketchbook following some tutorials that are on YouTube, and I was actually pretty proud with how it turned out. So this is made with Reeves 300 GSM watercolour paper. So over here, these are some little sketches I was doing for some characters for an idea for a cartoon series, which I don't know if anything will ever come of it, but I thought it'd be nice to try and put some characters together and I guess put it into a portfolio one day. These were just doodling around. I don't even know what they were meant to be, but I like how this fella turned out. He seems quite cute. Again, this is some thoughtless doodling and some notes. Don't know what Manio Ramon Go Hands means, but I'm sure it was important at the time. This is one of the characters from a video game, Wargroove. I really liked it, so I just did a copy out of off the cover art. I don't know who the artist is, but as you play the game, you can unlock the concept art, which is really cool. It's if you ever played Advance Wars on Game Boy, it's a lot like that. Both here we're trying to draw heads from imagination, so without using reference. I'm still not quite there yet, but what's the name? Oh my gosh, Chris Hong had a skill share about using shadow shapes to build volume, which I think is really, really helpful, and I recommend it if you have the time. And again, these are a couple more sketches of this guy Spuds. I like his little pot belly that started coming in around here. The other thing in this sketchbook is that not everything is in chronological order. I have gone back and forth. Oh, excuse me. Oopsie daisy. So I was watching some Rod Gon tutorials, and he listed out his biggest inspirations, which are Invasium, Steven Silver, Chris Sanders, Genevieve Side, Calvin and Hobbes. So I started doing a similar thing, going around and making sure I can make folders, like inspiration folders of these artists. Is something I intend to do, but I haven't got around to yet. If you're not familiar with any of these names, I recommend you go and check out their stuff. This guy, Jacques Guazov, I don't actually know how to say his name, but I just like the character design from Wakfu and Dofus, but his stuff's a little bit too sexy, I think. It's probably the correct word. This is drawing from a photo, starting to implement a lot more of the shadow shape stuff. That's one hell of a chin. It's funny, looking at these sketchbooks through the lens of the iPhone that I have up here, the mistakes are 10 times more obvious. I've heard that that's like looking through the photos, or it's like doing the mirror trick of inverting the canvas. So here I wanted to highlight out my art goals for the year and things to improve upon. It ended up getting a longer list than I thought it would be, so my art goals for 2020 seem to be get better at everything. But in order of, I guess, priority, portraits, figures, and hands. Those are probably the main three things I want to improve upon. I got this sketchbook of Yo Yoshinari. He's one of my all-time favourite artists, and just looking at just the amazing, quick doodly but expressive nature of all of his figures made me go like, I want to be like that. So in order to do that, there was Figuary coming up, which I have on different sketchbooks because that's a lot of drawings. So I'll do a tour of all the drawings I did for Figuary soon as well. My wife loves raccoons, so I started drawing them as well. Oh yeah, wow. This was playing with some gouache paint just noodling about, and this ended up looking like Red Skull before his nose fell off or whatever. This one here was attempted to be a portrait of this lady, Maria Vasilyevna Oktyabrskia. I don't know how to say Russian names. It doesn't actually look anything like her, so if you go and Google that name, you will see that this woman doesn't look like the reference I was using, because my skills at portraiture are not quite there yet. But she's an interesting woman. She lost her husband in the war with Germany, and she went to the Russian government and said, "Can I have a tank and drive it, and I will try and go and kill all the Germans?" And they said, "Yep, sure, go for it." So she got a tank called the Fighting Girlfriend, and she went off and fought Germans to avenge her deceased husband. She was awarded a medal for Russia. Unfortunately, I think she also perished in the conflict. Just doodling around with noses, trying to get a bit more of a handle on it. These are a couple of rips directly from Heikala, so they're not traced, but I look at and reproduce as a way of learning what it is about her lines that I like so much. Heikala, I think, is from Finland, Poland, I'm not sure, but she does, all of her work is done with a Pentel pocket brush pen, and these watercolours and inks, and they're absolutely fantastic. I don't know if I could, hang on, I've got all these books on my desk, stuff like that. Really, really nice. Oh, they're heavy. What's we got here? This was from an Alicia Yeltsa Skillshare class, Ali Bean, on YouTube. Really like her videos as well. A very soothing and relaxing voice. So this is with gouache. This was a very valuable exercise of taking just the three primary red, blue, yellow, and seeing what colours you can mix out of it. So these ones in the back are just mixing a little bit of white in, and that's burnt sienna, I think. This was a sketch, and then I went over it with grayscale, playing with brush pen filled with water and ink. These were some early sketches of another character for that cartoon show I was talking about. So this is it looks a little bit like a weird Mario, but he's meant to be Sheffy. And this was early ideas for a character called Abigail. Not Abigail, but Abigail. This is a little cartoon of my wife holding a very small chicken. It's from a photo we were visiting some friends, and their chickens had just hatched a bunch of chicks, and he went and put one in her hand, and she was quite shocked. This was just a silly comic idea of how I can not find my cat in the morning, but as soon as you crack one of those cans of food, she'll immediately just appear on your shoulder like magic. I like these. In one of the Skillshare boxes, these pastel pencils came, and bright colours and stuff are still not really something I work with, but I was playing around with them. I ended up not using them much more for stuff like this, but more for the figuary, which I'll probably have in another video. Oh, I was watching She-Ra and the Princess of Power at the time, so there's a little Hordak drawing with some pastels, which, I don't know, it seems quite funny to draw like the villain of the series in these nice pastel colours. Again, just playing with those shadow shapes, trying to get a better handle on heads. What I've learned from this sketchbook is that I really just need to sit down and learn anatomy of skulls and things like that. I can't just keep pushing forward. I can't remember what was going on here. I love the yellow in here, these jaundiced eyes. Got to work on these eyelashes. This just makes me uncomfortable, so I'm just going to keep going. So this is sort of done with a pocket brush pen, similar to how Heikala does things. Again, hands are really hard. Look how small this hand is compared to her face. the thing I like the most about this one is that I put all the colour in and then did a thin wash of blue over the top, so that transparency of watercolour made these ones look a little bit more like they were underwater. I think if I got in there with like maybe, I don't know, a little bit of, no, that did nothing, white to make like bubbles, would be the next step. I shaved my beard to look like this at the time in my head, and people were saying I look like a B-grade Disney villain, so I designed myself like that and gave it to my friend. So now he's used that as a D&D character in his campaign. I like the idea of this guy being a villain, but who's just a very terrible villain. It's a horrible pun, please forgive me. This is a sketch I did, just laying in where the values go for a self-portrait I ended up doing in gouache, which is my Facebook profile picture. So when I eat popcorn on the couch, I always kind of feel like that Yoshi from Mario, because I hold it in my hand and then use my tongue like a lizard to eat it. This one here is of my friend Jerry. So he runs a D&D campaign called a company, I suppose, of Dice and Men, where he's a full-time dungeon master and he has this huge campaign. But quite often I remember playing, I'd often go to do something stupid and he'd be like, "Are you sure?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm completely sure," but it nearly always resulted in something terrible happening to my character. So I drew this little picture for him. Afterwards I realised that he's actually in the centre of the table, so I've got to be more careful when I'm putting in ink. My friend does this little cartoony character called Reet, and I thought it'd be fun to try and see like how dark and evil I could make it based on and still have it be recognisable as his character. And that's what I ended up doing. I could take or leave the character itself, but this lighting I really like. It's quite dramatic, I suppose. There's another artist who's grabbed me. Her name is Simke, and she has a web comic, which is all about this raccoon and his daily struggles in life. So I just copied out a couple of these to try and get the shapes, because I did draw on a scrap piece of paper, I don't have it here, a raccoon to look like this without reference, and it just looked like a dog's breakfast. So just drew a couple of these down and then just tried to find the, I guess, key lines in representing the shapes. This as a sketch I was really quite happy with, and then I went over it with ink and wrecked it. Some of the shapes up here in the eyebrows were a bit more subtle and a bit more controlled with pencil, and I sort of screwed it up, but you win some, you lose some. This one here is my best mate Alex. His partner, his name is Freya, and this is his dog Paddington. This is from a photo. I'm not that quick and good at drawing from life yet, but thought it was a very cute, very almost Victorian sort of pose. And Paddington did have his silly little tongue hanging out. He's an adorable dog. This is sort of just a sketch for an idea I was going to come back to later. If fairies had Facebook, it would be called Faybook, and what a fairy's Facebook profile would look like. So this is the profile for Phoebe Fairweather, who works at Moonshadow Apothecary and studied alchemy at the College of Brightmeadow. So when I was going, so there's a park run thing that happens every Saturday. At 9 o'clock, it's like a 5k run, and heaps of people, like hundreds of people, go on this run together. And I was there watching, and there was this guy running with his pram, and he just looked so aggro. And there was like another dad running. So there were these two prams like racing each other down the track, and it just gave me this like weird sort of Star Wars TIE Fighter Mad Max battle vibe. So I did a little doodle of that. I can't remember what was happening here, but gosh, that's gross. We won't talk about that. This is, gosh, what is his name? Swiftwind. If Swiftwind went and rolled his foot, it's a bit dark. Anyway, a bit too edgy. Moving along. This is a little lunchtime sketch, which I was actually pretty happy with. For about 15 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. Oh, this was an idea of having like Magic the Gathering-esque trading cards for deceased D&D characters. Oh, this is Underdrawing. If you haven't seen Hilda on Netflix, I really recommend it. Fantastic show. I was just wondering what sort of character Hilda would look like all grown up. I think it's good practice to take a character like, you know, she's small and squishy and go, well, just stretching characters into different things and seeing how it goes. From another Alicia Skillshare, trying to improve hands. And it's also from an Alicia Skillshare. He's more work on trying to mark out that character, Abigail. It's not Abigail, it's Abigail. And I still haven't quite nailed it down. I don't know, it's annoying me. More Skillshare little exercises. This one's we just meant to like smush down paint and then later turn it into something with a bit of ink. That's really cute. This blue fella, I like it. I don't know what it is, but I like it. Gosh, hang on. This is like a silly joke. In the city I live in, there are two tilers. Rosetto Tiles and Wiley Tiles. Both of these guys have put in a fair amount of marketing into their campaigns, and Mr. Wiley's tagline is Mr. Wiley, I presume. So I drew them both to be like, or sketched them out to be like anime-esque characters finally meeting. I suppose it'd be JoJo, you know, like characters, but I haven't seen JoJo, so I'm not sure if that's appropriate. I don't know what happened here, so I'm just going to keep going. Ooh, what was that game? Dragon Age Inquisition. I absolutely loved how the character art for these guys had this really like fantasy, washed out vibe. So I copied a couple of those out and just sort of looked where the values were of that one. Oh, these are some people off Reddit Gets Drawn, which I actually never got around to posting on Reddit Gets Drawn, so sorry to those users. I was going to do the same thing here with this character from Dragon Age as that one. Because, like, you can tell the guys who did that are amazing, because this hand sort of looks like a hand, and it's just these abstract, flat shapes. Anyway, I'm rambling now. More Reddit Gets Drawn people. There's another character from the cartoon who's my absolute favourite. A man who's raised by plovers called Lapwing. He is the thorn in the side of the main character, Sheffy. Here's the relative scales of the characters in the end. Sheffy was quite small. Oh, I made a little pocket. And, oh, that's something else. What's this? That's a D&D spell. Huh. I have a Ring of Healing. Okay, that's everything in this sketchbook. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be on all my February drawings for the month of February. Thank you.